Hey guys, Chris, Ironhead Garage. Well, we're back out in the shop with the old Model A and the old GMC. Yeah, I still haven't slid it over. Been working on this old 29 a little bit. I got the headlights mounted, check them out. Yeah, they look pretty cool. The passenger side is down about 1/4 inch, so I need to do a little bit of tweaking with the brackets, but man, they look pretty cool, I think, except that roof too high. We'll chop that down, but I don't have them wired up right now. I gotta order them that kit from Speedway or go to the wrecking yard. I still haven't gone to the wrecking yard and see what I can find. Maybe I can make some halogens off a late model car work, but yeah, they're pretty cool on there. They sure made a difference. But been working on it a little more. I took all those T-handles off of here. Man, every time you work on the engine and you go to pull your hand back, I'll gouge my hand on the top of those things, and they're more 70s era style on a muscle car. So I was able to clean the valve covers up a lot better. And I kept the studs on here, and it's got these little plates on here. I put little lock washers on there, so I think that looks better too. It's much cleaner. Those T-handles, they look too gaudy for me, but they're cool. You can tighten up your valve covers with them easy. Need to change them headers, but this seat in here, so you can see if you're sitting there, your head's in the back window, and whoever built this car must have been tall. I'm about 5'8", and when I'm in the car, you can see I'm looking out the side window, so I need to be up here further. And if I press the clutch down, I'm totally straight legged, so totally back too far for me. If I was 6'2" or something, it would probably be better. But so I'm gonna unloosen that seat, and I'm gonna mark it here in the middle, so when I go to notch it, it'll sit down on the floor pan. I gotta figure out how to mount it and redo the brackets. You can see it's got a little L bracket in there, and I can scrub it up a little bit. It should clean up real good with some good cleaner. But then I'll do that shifter once I get the seat forward where I want it, probably 4 or 5 inches forward, I'm sure. Then I'm gonna cut this old HURST handle off and bring it this way and then back up so it's in the middle of the tunnel. It's kind of funky now the way it is. I'm sure you could drive it, but I don't think I want to try driving it like that. So I'm gonna get the old seat unbolted and get it out of there. Oh, did you guys see? I got the moons for the front wheels, the moon caps. So I got all 4 moons now. The front don't match, but it's got a cool look though. I think I might paint them wheels black. Still undecided, but black kind of goes with everything. With any color you paint the body. So get that seat out. See what I can figure out. I'll be back. Okay, well, I got the seat out. Oh, so this is a style bulb I'm going to put in those old headlights there. The halogen. This one's a Silver Star, but it's got the regular plug-in, and then on some of the cars they have a spring right here, so I'll be able to drill that reflector inside and put it in there. There's enough room in there behind that reflector that that tail will have enough room to plug in. So they should be pretty bright like a normal car. Maybe not, because the reflector ain't designed like a normal car, but way brighter than those old 6-volt bulbs that you run in there. So I got the seat out of her. She had a little bit of surface rust in here, so I wire wheeled it. I wonder how that happened. Must have been from the rainstorm anyway. So I got this pretty clean. I'll probably shoot it up with some rust paint, preserve it. But I thought this seat was just plywood on the bottom. I believe it's an old CJ frame out of a Jeep. So it had bottom mounts on it right there with some holes here. I think I'm gonna cut these off and cut these off and take about 6 3/4 of an inch out of the center of this and make 2 seats for the bottom. So this will show, and then I can mount that back onto those frames. I think I'm gonna drill that tube pipe there. I'll drill it in 4 spots on each. I guess there'll be a half a bucket seat, and then tap it because this is pretty thick. It's like 1/8 inch. So if I tap it all the way, I can run some bolts in there up through the floor pan, and then I can mount the back on it, and then it will still fold down. I think I'm gonna cut these down a little bit, an inch and a half or so, then re-drill it so my seat will still fold down. I got an electric stapler around here where I can attach this back to it, but I believe when they were welding these brackets on, the old boy had himself a little seat fire. Look at that. Yeah, he must have had the garden hose out. So I'll get a little bit of foam and put in there before I put it back together. I never noticed sitting in it, but yeah, she's a little torched. If you're welding on a seat, you better have the garden hose ready. But so I think I'm going to be measuring that out, and I'm going to chop that 6 3/4 out of the center of it, and then cut the foam. And I got to measure this material, see where I can fold it over. I won't have white all the way around, but I think it will still look cool. It'll have that center console, and then maybe I could put like a little armrest there, or some cup holders, or spot for your tickets. But yeah, I think that's one way to fix that seat to get me up further, so my head ain't back here in the back window looking like Stretch. Yeah, with the seat up further, I can work that clutch a lot better too. So I'm gonna get cutting on that seat, do a little measuring first, and then get cutting on it and see what I can figure out. Hopefully it comes out good. I'll be looking for another seat. All right, guys, I'm on it. Well, I've been messing with that seat, and you know the good thing about hot rodding? You can change it up anytime you want. If something's not right, just go a different direction. So that's what I'm going to do on this seat. Instead of cutting the center out of this bottom, I got the pieces in here, and I cut them. I got these laid in here. This one's rocked. There's a body bolt down here. I'm going to take a hole saw and make a hole so it's tight. But I put the seat foam on there, and it's just got a little rise in it. So I thought, well, why not put the middle of the seat back in there and cut me 4 brackets that'll go like this, and trim them round, and a few spot welds here and here, and then I can put that seat foam back in here and then just cut a little bit out of the center of it, so there ain't no rise in the center, you know, so it's all nice and flat across here. I think that's going to be much better. See, this is a 1/8 inch, so I'll tap this frame somewhere. I'm not sure where, probably over here, and then back here, and then I only have to have 4 bolts instead of having 8 bolts and having that seat cover look kind of odd. It would have looked like it was cut, but I think this way is a better way. So I'm going to take this out, put it on the flat ground, and make me 4 of them little plates there. Spot weld them on there. Then I'll have a whole frame for the bottom again. It'll be nice and strong. So I think that's a better idea. That's the cool thing about hot rodding. You can always change it up and go a different direction. Fix something that ain't right, no big deal. All right, I'm gonna get making them plates. Weld her up. Well, I got the seat mocked up here on the ground. I made 4 of these little brackets here. I got her shimmed up 5/8 from here to here. So I'm gonna zap these guys on and have a seat frame again. All right, well, I got that seat frame all welded up. Stuck it in the Model A and yeah, looks pretty good. Plenty strong. Bomb proof. So there's them body bolts that I had to drill a hole, so I got some adjustment and it was set flat. This one I didn't go quite deep enough, but it's like 1.125" hole underneath there, so I got plenty of slide back this way, about 1.5 inches. So I got to get it centered up side to side and try this foam on there and mark that foam where I want to hog it out on the bottom for that tunnel. And then I think I'm going to lower these pivot points down where it folded forward. It had about a 2-3 inch gap here where anything on the seat you go to take off, dumping the clutch in this little big block car, you know that's going to happen. Everything's going to fly through the seat, so I want that back of that seat to come down tight so nothing falls through, and then have it still flip forward so you can get your cooler of Dr. Pepper back there, or brewski, whatever someone's drinking, lunch. But it'd be nice to have that seat tilt forward. So we're mark that foam, cut it out. All right, to cut a foam seat, you run on in the house while the wife's doing something, and you go to the knife drawer and you get her bread knives out. You wash them up before she knows they work good for cutting foam. Electric one's really good. Just don't let the wife know. All right, I got the foam notched out. The old bread knives work pretty good. I took a couple scraps where that fire was underneath there, and they planed out just right. This one's a little thinner, it's a little thinner here, and I got some 3M spray adhesive for upholstery that I'll spray on both sides, and that should stick there so it won't be a soft spot in the seat. That's the passenger side anyway. So now I'm gonna cut them brackets off, or actually I'm gonna add a piece of steel here and then drill that hole, I believe 2.5 inches down lower, and then I'll cut the top of this off. That's got to have a piece of metal here because that seat back has a heel that pushes against here and keeps the back from going all the way back. So I got to extend that and bring her down and get rid of that gap in the seat. Nothing but fun. All right, I got the seat back on there. Here's the pieces I cut off. I've had the seat off and on this bottom bracket probably 6 or 7 times trying to get it adjusted right, but there's a little piece that I put on for the heel. That heel comes down here. You can see I got a little notch there. It was too straight up and down, and if you take too much out of that, it'll lean it back too much. I only took maybe 1/8 out of it. It was almost straight up and down, but now it's got a nice little slant. I set it in the car a couple times, and seems to be fine, adjusted right. So I got some holes here where I'm going to bolt it up from the bottom with these I think they're 3/8 bolts, I believe. So I got a hole there. Where is it? Right there and there. So that'll bolt down to the floor pan. So I'm going to set this frame in there. That's an 1/8 inch hole. Set this frame in the old hot rod and get her squared up in there to the dash, measure off the back and side to side. And then I'll take my 1/8 inch drill bit and run it down these holes and then mark the floor pan. So I'll have a guide hole there. And you can see these bolts here. They'll go up into that pipe with a couple washers. And I'm going to tap this pipe so these thread up in there. It's 1/8 inch thick, so it's plenty strong enough. Here, look. I was putting on some tape on her and seeing what the chop's going to look like. Kind of crude, but I think I'm going to have about 4 inches above my head. If I chop it 5 inches, this is the simulated top of the roof. 5 inches down. And this is the window opening. This bottom of the tape is bottom of door frame. So, and that's windshield. That's bottom of our top of windshield frame. That'll be the glass that's showing. Might have to put some speed holes in here so I can see the stop lights. See when they turn green so you can hammer on it. But yeah, trying to get a vision of what it would look like. I've looked at a bunch of ones online and on the computer, videos. Yeah, foam's a mess. I'm gonna have to relocate my my shut-off switch. And this was an old where the battery was, and the guy I got it from, who bought it from the older guy who built it, he had the battery hanging down there, and he said you could see it from the side of the car, the battery hanging down. He was afraid of hitting something with it. That's why it's in the trunk now. So before I bolt the seat down, I'll probably pull that screw and put some RTV around here and silicone it up. Maybe a couple other screws in there. And I'll have to move that switch hole somewhere. I'll put a plug in that for now. But I'm gonna get that seat pan in here and mark those holes. Then I can finally put this thing back together. Boy, never thought working on a seat, customizing a seat, but sure is a lot of work, I'll tell you that much. A couple days at it. Alright guys, back on that seat. Well, a little change of plans on the seat. I was just going to tap the frame and run them bolts up in there, and I thought, I'll just drill it all the way through and then weld nuts on the top. So I got the bolts in there. This will be a lot stronger. And I bolted it up and tightened those nuts on there so they compress real good. I got that one, and that one there, and that one there. All those bolts came out. This guy here, oh, what trouble it was. The MIG wire must have got underneath there and welded the bolt to the nut. And it came out about 1/4 inch. I put the old long ratchet on it and tried to unthread it, and it snapped. So there was about 3/4 of an inch of 3/8 grade 8 bolt in there that I had to drill out. Never fun to drill out a grade 8 bolt. So I got it pretty close to the size of the inside of the threads of the nut, and then I was able to tap it. So watch that MIG wire. It'll mess with you. Alright, I got the seat bracket bolted down in there just to make sure everything's right. They don't want to have to hog a hole out or anything when I have the cushion all on it. I had the foam in there. So now to be able to drive this thing without the shifter rubbing your leg real hard, I'm going to cut this shifter here. I thought about bending it, but then it's going to be too short. So I got a 1/4 inch piece of metal. I'm going to cut this off with the zip wheel, then extend it over to the center, and then weld this guy back on it. And maybe paint it black or something. Maybe we'll change it up in the future or something, but it's going to be pretty hard to drive it like this with it right against your leg or this between your legs. That ain't very cool. So get the zip wheel out and cut that baby off. Get that done, and then I'll put this all back together. Put the seat back in, squirt a little paint back there. Yeah, she's coming together one piece at a time. Well, I went ahead and chopped that HURST shifter off. Yep, she's done, but I'm gonna fix it. So I beveled the edges so I can get a good bead of weld there, and when I grind it. So I went ahead and I made this piece of metal here out of 1/4 inch by inch, and I bent it over there with my hammer and then smoothed it out where the hammer marks were. So I think I'm going to weld it like so, but that handle will be straight. I had it up here on the top. I've just been sliding it around, trying to get the right height on it. I think that might be, that's a little tall, as you can see. So I think I'm gonna tack this bottom on there and then use the super magnets. Man, these things are killer. You get your fingers in between these, it'll take a piece of your hide off. Hard to pull your skin out from in between them, but they're killer for doing stuff like this. So I'm gonna get this bar that I made just tacked on there and get it level. It'll come up in the middle of the transmission tunnel. Plenty of room out of your way for your leg now. You can see, maybe I can climb in here. It's like getting a little shopping cart. But you see where my leg is, where that is. So see if I can do this with one hand. So I want it center and I want it level. So something like that. That's 4th gear. Put it up there. That's in the 2nd gear. She's a 3-speed. But it's a little tall, I think. So that's why I was trying to slide this top part down, get it the right height. Something like that. And I'll whittle this piece to the same width as that. I think something like that's a little better. A little shorter. Yeah, plenty of room for your legs now. It won't get in the way. So I'm gonna get this bottom piece tacked on there and slide that around, figure out what's more comfortable. All right, well, I got the centerpiece welded on there. I cranked my welder up fat. Man, this thing took a long time to cool. Put me some tin foil there, keep any debris falling down into those plates in the shifter mechanism. But I did chop the handle about 1 inch shorter. I got a nice bevel all the way around it, and I got a bevel around that guy. So I'm gonna weld it on right there. I ground this on each side and tapered it a little bit to the size of this. So that's going to look pretty good. And I'll grind it all pretty smooth and maybe paint her up or something. But yeah, it's going to be way better. So I'm going to get this top welded on there. Get this seat all back together. Get the back on there and see how it all is. All right. Well, I got the shifter all welded up and ground down. Check her out now. Yeah, it's way better. Came out pretty nice for an old hot rod. Now it's pretty much in the center. Got a little bend there so my leg can go around and work the gas for now. Yeah, pretty slick. Got the old stock HURST ball on there now. Sprayed some red oxide on that bare metal where it had some surface rust on it, and I took care of. Yeah, pretty cool. It's gonna be way better. That other shifter rod, the way it was, shifter arm, was pretty funky to drive between your legs. I would have changed that right when I built this car, but it's gonna be cool now. It'll be a lot better. Came out nice. Yeah, it's a little off to the driver's side, a little bit. A lot better since I cut it down a little shorter. I'll get that seat in there and see how she looks. Alright guys, well, that seat about put a whooping on me, but got her all back together. Looks just like it did. So she's sitting down on the floor. So I got maximum head height for chopping the top. The gap is sealed back here. If you guys remember, it was up about 3 inches. So all your stuff would go flying back when you dump the clutch in it. So that's way better. And I moved it up forward. It's all bolted down to the floor pan. The back works now. Now you can put your cooler or your tool chest or whatever you want back there. The shifter is much better now. I think I'm gonna just leave it raw like that. I kind of like the raw look. Maybe I'll just put some wax on it or something to keep it from rusting. Ain't like this car is gonna be outside anymore. I think it lived in a carport, but now I can get over there and work that gas pedal and go through the gears without my leg being on the outside of it, because it was way over here before. It was like here, you couldn't even move your leg. You couldn't even get your leg straight in here like that. But that's way better now. So, I'm getting close. Taking this little Model A out for a scoot. But I think I'm going to put her up on jack stands. And I need to put these residual valves on there. And I got a bunch of new clamps. 3/16 clamps. They're like the Earl ones you buy, but a lot cheaper, probably the same manufacturer. But the brake lines now, they're hooked on with like those little plastic clips that hook phone line on the outside of your siding on your house or something with screws. And they just drilled holes in the frame and rivet them on. So I'm gonna be pulling all those off and drilling the frame or tapping it. Maybe use their holes and tap it. And use those chrome little button head Allen bolts I got, and those rubber clamps to hold the lines. I need to fix the shut-off switch that's hanging down below the floor pan now. It was in front of the seat. I got to relocate that. I need to change the oil. Need to get the parts for them bulbs for these headlights. I sure am digging these headlights. Yeah, pretty cool. So these are stock ones that would have came on a 28, 29, 28. There's no horizontal lines like here. They're just all vertical. And the 29 has these lines, has this little smiley face on there like in a couple of them horizontal lines. I believe that's the only difference. Then the 30s, 30 to 31 headlight buckets. They're more shorter here, more of a bowl style. But I like these long dish ones. Look pretty cool. So, we'll end it here. I appreciate you guys. I really do. Sharing my little journey with you guys. Made a lot of friends on here. A couple good friends. Yeah, a bunch of you. Alright guys. We'll appreciate you. We'll see you next time.